everybody. Quiet, listen to me. We're going to start a show.
Kyle, do you know what today is?
I believe it's Tuesday.
I meant other than... Oh, God. No. Today is the first episode of the Ink and Paint Club podcast, everybody. Kyle doesn't know what day things are.
I didn't know if we were doing a bit or not. I'm sorry.
I'm sorry. I don't include Kyle in on things a lot of the time, so... if you're listening to this and don't know what we're doing, because you didn't listen to the intro episode we did, basically the Ink and Paint Club podcast is just me and Kyle talking about cartoons for like an hour or so. I don't know. We're going to talk about like we're going to do the news first, you know, what's been going on in the animation world the last week or so, and then we got, you know, we're going to talk about something later on. It should be fun. I hope.
I hope so, too.
Oh, good. We'll both remain hopeful.
Hope makes the world go round.
Yeah. Oh, but by the way, my name is JD, and with me is the Ginger Avenger himself, Kyle.
I'm Kyle, or the West Call virus.
Yes. Yes, you are. And
one of those.
One of those guys. He's the coolest guy, I think. So anyway, enough about that. Let's stop beating around the bush. Let's talk about some news, Kyle. You want to talk about the news?
I love beating the bush, though.
Jesus. This is a family-friendly show.
Oh.
No, it's not. This isn't remotely family-friendly. There'd be swears. Alright, so, first on our news list here, apparently Tangled is getting a TV show?
With the question mark at the end?
Question mark? No, it is. So, I guess Disney is saying that in 2017, Disney's Tangled is getting its own animated TV show.
Because all the loose ends weren't tied.
Right?
At the end.
I need to know more about what happened.
Yeah, because apparently she got her golden hair back.
If the promotional image, if the promo image is anything to be believed, but...
Well,
yeah.
if a show's gonna be called Tangled, or Rapunzel, whatever it is...
Yeah, I don't think
I would assume she would have her golden locks.
You'd think so, but... So, alright, so what they've said here is, you know, for what they want to do, I'm actually kind of impressed with it so far, is they're getting, you know... the original voice actors back, so Mandy Moore, Zachary Levi coming back as the main two characters and whatever. They're getting Alan Menken to come back to write new songs, so that's kind of cool. And I guess they say it's going to take place between like the film and that short they did a while back about when they got married. Yeah.
That's weird.
I guess. I mean... I don't know why they couldn't do it after they were married. Cool married time adventures, but...
It's just weird, because it says that it takes place during the events, between the events of the film and the short, but apparently she's putting on the crown.
Or something like that. I don't know. That's, I don't know. Oh, but here's the twist here. They're adding a new character.
Yeah, well, they have to.
I know. It's like, you know, like back in the 90s, they had like Aladdin and the Little Mermaid, and Hercules had all their own show. I'm guessing it's gonna be like in that vein, where I don't know. I never actually watched those shows, so.
I used to watch them a lot. I liked the Little Mermaid. I liked Aladdin. Those were fun. I didn't watch too much of Hercules.
Yeah, I never. All I remember is there was like a crossover episode between Aladdin and Hercules, and it was like really underwhelming.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Because Hades and Jafar, I don't even know who the bad guys were.
It's like pre-Kingdom Hearts. It's like they're thinking about it. I'm like, let's just test the waters here first. See how that goes over. And now we have this giant arcing franchise that I've really stopped. I don't know what's going on anymore, Kyle.
Yeah.
God.
I mean, it's been like 10 years and the third game hasn't come out yet, but anyways.
3 being a relative term.
Now, what I'm wondering is this going to be that terrible, like, CalArts 3D animation Mickey Mouse Clubhouse looks like, or is it going to be, like, based on the concept artwork, or is it going to be, like, weird Flash version?
I'm almost... If I'm being realistic here, I'm guessing it's I'm gonna put my money down now. Say it is gonna be 2D, but I do see it like being kind of Flash-ish, kind of more limited. But who knows? This is like based on a movie that did pretty well for them. Maybe they'll put some money behind it. But I saw the concept art. I'm like, if it's gonna be 2D, I hope they do it 2D. I hope they do it like the concept art, 'cause it looks pretty decent.
Yeah. I probably just won't watch it.
Yeah. What was your impression of Tangled, Kyle?
I didn't care for it.
Just not into princesses, or just not into that one specifically?
I don't know. I think it was pretty overrated as far as that goes. Just like Frozen, but that's a different story.
That's a long conversation, isn't it?
That's an episode in itself.
Yes, future episode, why Kyle hates Frozen.
Yes.
And why I'm pretty indifferent towards it. No. I don't know. I didn't really... I mean, Tangled was alright. I'm one of those few minority... I'm in the minority of people who actually really enjoyed Princess and the Frog. So, when... Disney was doing something in a similar vein, like another princess movie after that. I'm like, oh, well, maybe they'll do like a more modernized, up-to-date kind of princess movie. And it was okay. It wasn't bad, for their first modern 3D film.
Wasn't it marketed as like a twist on the fairy tale or something weird like that? And it kind of just wasn't?
Yeah, it was weird too, because, originally, it was just going to be called Rapunzel. That was, the original title of the movie. And then, I guess some executive was like, we got to market this towards boys, so we made Flynn Rider more predominant in the movie and called it Tangled, so it's not so girl-specific.
Wasn't the concept artwork, he was kind of, bearish? He was,
Dude, okay, so,
bigger.
yeah, dude. I've said this, to my girlfriend. Flynn's original design... Go back, watch Sword in the Stone. Arthur's, his cousin or whatever. It's the big guy that's always getting on his ass. He looks like that guy. And it trips me out. It trips me out when they have concept art of that design with what Rapunzel ended up looking like. And it's like, doesn't look right. It's weird.
I think a lot of people express, I don't know. I don't want to say hatred, but but knowing the internet, it was probably hatred.
Probably.
I think they just expressed that they wanted the bear type. I don't know. That's probably a gay term to use. I don't know what use. But anyways, I think that's why the dude from Frozen, Kristoff, ended up the way he was, because he wasn't normal body typed. He was a bit bigger.
I could see that. That makes sense. So, any more thoughts on Tangled, Kyle?
Nah.
Okay. All right, moving on to our next bit. I don't know how to pronounce this. Klaus.
I'm sure it's Claus.
I'm
Claus. It looks like it's based on Santa Claus.
Right.
So I'm gonna go with Claus.
Okay, Claus. Okay. First off, if you're listening to this and you have not watched this trailer, stop listening to this, go watch it, come back. So, okay, we'll wait. Well, this is a pause function. You can pause it and then go, okay, whatever. Anyway, so, this almost seemingly out of nowhere, at least for me when I saw it, just popped up in my feed. So, this animator, who was, he's going back. He worked. His name's Sergio Pablos. Looks like. He worked on Hunchback and Tarzan and Treasure Planet. Which, JD, fun fact, I actually really like Treasure Planet.
Lame.
Shut up. Anyway, they released this trailer. It's this male guy trying to set up a postal service in this backwoods town. I'm guessing it looks like maybe late 1800s. I don't know. I'm bad at placing time frames for things, but God, it's gorgeous. It's all completely 2D, but it looks. There's parts of it, especially in the environment, it looks 3D. No, the entire thing is all hand drawn, and
well, a lot of the lighting, I don't know. It looks gorgeous, but it looks like it's got some CG help, but it definitely isn't.
Well, I'm sure, like, when they say hand drawn, I mean, I'm sure not like we're doing this on paper now with painted cells. I'm sure they're doing like on Cintiqs and all that stuff. But like,
well of course.
Well, right. But it's like when I look at this, I'm like, had Disney stayed making 2D films, this is what it would have looked like.
Yeah.
Oh.
Well, I mean, with stuff like Paper Man, I'm kind of hoping a movie will come out that kind of looks like it, because Paper Man was still kind of hand-drawn, but it was mostly just 3D models cel-shaded.
Yeah.
To look like it was.
Yeah, Paper Man was... I mean, I genuinely liked Paper Man. I liked what they were going for. And 90% of it, it was convinced me, it's like, yes, this looks like, a 2D with some 3D help. But there are some parts where, like, okay, I can tell this is 3D models, but not enough to really bug me. But
I want to say with, like, head turns and stuff like that, you could tell pretty well.
Yeah, there was, like... I'm trying to remember what scene. It was, like, the scene in Paper Man where he's, like, running across traffic. That's where it really stood out.
Yeah.
But yeah, anyway, this movie... God, I try to think of something better to say other than, oh my god, it's gorgeous.
I think, oh my god, it's gorgeous pretty much suffices on what it is.
Yeah, it was really funny, and I'm one of these people who would notice this kind of thing. It was funny when I learned this guy animated on Treasure Planet, because the male guy, the way he moves, his hand gestures, looks exactly like, crap, what was his name? The dog professor guy in Treasure Planet.
Yeah, I know who you're talking about. I just don't know his name either.
Oh, God. And I say I love this movie, and I can't remember any of the characters' names. Anyway, but yeah, it's like his hand movements, the way his mouth, his head moves, it looks just like how that character moves, and I thought that was really funny.
Well, we'll just say it's Frasier's brother.
Yeah, there we go. Well, we'll go with that.
Yes.
So yeah, I don't know if they've said when this is coming out, but I know that if this gets come out in America and gets, in theaters, I will be there opening day to see this, because, goddamn.
And if it comes out as a Kickstarter, I will probably throw some money at it.
I'd kick a couple bucks to that. I mean, I think it's a professional studio, so unless they're really hurting to find distributors, I don't know if it come to that, but yeah, I'd be down for throwing a couple bucks towards that. Now, anything to keep 2D alive.
Whatever happened with the that whole thing that they were trying to play on people with hand-drawn animation, and this is going to be a steampunk movie?
Oh, yeah. Fuck, what was it called? I think it was called Hullabaloo or something like that?
I think that's what it was.
I think they're still working on that.
I haven't heard not one word of news on it.
I saw something about it the other day. I think it was they were posting a new piece of art or something. I think they're still working on it. I don't know how close they are to being done, but that looked pretty cool. I think that was old Disney people too that's putting that together. That's pretty cool.
It was a bunch of veterans.
Yeah. I mean, I'm glad in this day and age we're getting so many people who are old industry veterans, and I'm talking not just animation, but even in video games, that they're just going out on their own and this is the project that the studio normally wouldn't fund itself, so screw it, we're gonna do it ourselves. So this movie, or this Claus movie, the whole blue thing, and things like the Mega Man guy making a new Mega Man game because Capcom's not one to freaking ukulele.
Yeah.
Which I'm super pumped for, because that looks sweet. But
You
yeah,
said we weren't going to talk about video games.
when it's relevant. Anyways, but super excited for this. I can't wait for it to come out. Beautiful. Cool. All right.
Yes.
So, next thing. Kyle, did you watch the Good Dinosaur trailer?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, there's not much to go off of. I mean, it's a minute-long teaser for a movie that doesn't come out till November.
True. I just kind of wish when movies do stuff like that, you would at least know a basic outline of the plot or something. Just kind of figure out what it's going to be about.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you get the concept that the comet missed the planet, but then you don't really quite know what the movie's going to be about.
I had to look it up, actually, but I'm guessing like, the plot is, like, it was described as like a boy and his dog story, but the roles are reversed, so like the big dinosaur, the big brachio, whatever kind of dinosaur it's supposed to be, the big long neck thing, is the boy, and he's got like this weird little caveman boy sidekick who's like, you know, underdeveloped and isn't intelligent at all, so it's like his dog, and they go on an adventure.
What a twist.
What a twist. Gets Shyamalan up in here. No,
True.
but esoteric references.
You know what really bothers me about it, though?
What?
None of the dinosaurs had feathers.
This is Jurassic Park level dinosaurs.
I was highly triggered from it.
Oh, God.
I was very upset.
Very
I
upset.
blogged about it for hours.
You don't blog, Kyle.
Oh, yeah.
You don't have one. No.
I don't even care. I like my dinosaurs scaly, to be honest. I don't care if it's scientifically accurate or whatever. But if they have little feathers, that's kind of cool.
Yeah. I think the only thing that bothered me is that, okay, in the beginning, I don't know if this is just for the trailer or whatever, but in the beginning, they're showing like the comets about to hit the Earth, and there's these dinosaurs at night just grazing or whatever. Those dinosaurs look pretty realistic, you know, semi-realistic. But then you go farther into the trailer, and you get like the main long-necked dinosaur, or you get the T-Rexes, and they look more like cartoony, you know, more in style with Pixar's way of doing stuff. So,
yeah, the Brontobrachiosauri, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
He's very goofy looking. I thought the T-Rex looked pretty goofy, but yeah, you're right.
Yeah, so I'm hoping that like, if I'm assuming that they're gonna be more like goofy cartoon looking, because you know that's just what Pixar does. So I'm hoping that that part was just for the trailer, just like, you know, this is dinosaurs, whatever. I'm hoping they're not like, some of them are gonna be cartoony, then some of them are gonna look more realistic. So that would I think that would take me out of it a bit.
They're gonna pull the Land Before Time, where it's like some are sentient thinking animals and some are just snarling beasts. I never liked that.
Yeah, that was weird. Why is the T-Rex just a mindless killing machine, but all the other ones can talk?
That's like every Don Bluth movie almost, or Bluth, but whatever. Seems like that.
Oh, Don Bluth.
I like that guy. He's cool.
Yeah, Don Bluth's cool. My girlfriend hates Don Bluth.
He's still trying to make Dragon's Lair like a full-on movie, but
is he?
I don't know if that's ever gonna happen. Dude's
knows?
really, really old.
Yeah, him and oh God, who's the guy who did Fritz the Cat?
Oh, Ralph.
Ralph Bakshi.
Unless you're talking about Crumb, but
No, I'm thinking about Ralph. No,
yeah.
it's Ralph Bakshi. Yeah, I think he's doing like an indie movie too.
From what I understand, it's like pretty much done. Because
Yeah.
that was a Kickstarter thing too.
Yeah, yeah, I follow him on Facebook, and he keeps posting like random video clips from all his movies all the time. It's like all I ever see from him. But yeah, I'm hoping that gets done, because that'd be cool seeing a new Ralph Bakshi movie. That'd be cool. But so yeah, but about this dinosaur, it was weird when I really thought about it. Pixar's got two movies coming out this year, which
Yeah, but I feel like the dinosaur one kept getting pushed back. So
Yeah,
that one's been in production for a while, I feel
right. But yeah, it didn't really dawn on me till I realized that Inside Out was coming out next week. Or 2 weeks. I don't know how long it is from now. But yeah, it's like Pixar didn't have any movies last year. And that was weird.
I want to say the last one was Brave, wasn't it? That's been a while.
No, it was Monsters University.
Oh, that's right.
That was 2 years ago. Which I actually really liked Monsters University. I know it was like cliche as all hell, but I thought it was. I got the feels, maybe because I was like nearing the end of my college time, so I was getting a little nostalgic. But I don't know.
Yeah, some of us didn't go to fancy college, so...
I didn't even go to a fancy college. I went to a state college in the middle of nowhere, Ohio.
Oh.
Jesus.
Well, I'm
you think I went to some...
really sorry for you.
Jesus. Yeah, I know. I live in a cornfield. No, but, yeah, yeah, so I guess Pixar's, like, doing catch-up this year, and, it's kind of hard to say if Good Dinosaur is going to be, any good.
It's in the name. It should be good.
I'll be sorely disappointed if it does not meet up to the expectations its name implies. But I've heard nothing but good things about Inside Out so far, and I don't know. Every time I see clips from it, it's like I'm cautiously optimistic right now.
Seems cool. I'm excited for it.
Yeah, it's just like. It takes place within the mind of a prepubescent girl. It's like, okay, not so much that like it's a girl or anything. don't jump on me for being sexist or anything. It's just I'm curious as to how they're gonna pull off the premise they're putting out there. Just like these emotions go on a journey through your mind. That's like a pretty heavy concept if you think about it. So,
I think just like Cars, they did like a Disney short way back, kind of based on the same thing.
Oh, I haven't seen that. I might have to look into
You never seen that? I don't know, it's kind of the same.
I had no idea. I'll have to look that up when we're done recording here.
Yeah, I don't know the name of it myself, but I've seen it before.
Weird.
Anyways, next thing.
So, this is just a little thing, and there's, like, no actual news other than the fact it's happening. Capcom's making a new Mega Man cartoon, I guess.
Yeah, I don't know how to feel about that, but
yeah.
if it's, like, based on the models and all that, I'm cool with that.
Yeah.
Maybe we might get some new merch from him. Might be kind of cool.
Yeah, like, dude, I'm just happy Capcom's doing something with Mega Man, because... God, what is happening over there that they just like Mega Man was their big guy, that was their go-to, and they just dropped off the face of the planet for the last couple of years with Mega Man.
Well, a lot of the fans feel that Capcom's just been screwing around with, I guess, the IP of him because the creator dropped out. He wanted to do his own stuff, so they feel like Legends was canceled. The silly Tekken add-ons were like a big FU to them.
Yeah, dude, I'm still bitter about Legends 3 getting canceled. Mega Man Legends is my favorite Mega Man game.
Definitely.
Cause I like classic Mega Man. I like Mega Man X. I even like the designs of Battle Network. I think all the redesigns are really cool. I'm just not any good in them. But I did okay with Legends, and I like his design. I like his big spiky hair. I even like the really cheesy voice acting. That late '90s voice acting.
I really like Powered Up myself. I wish they would have done more remakes in the Powered Up style.
Yeah, I keep meaning to play Powered Up, but I don't know. But so yeah, who knows how this is gonna turn out? Just happy Capcom's doing something. I think they said it's going to be a mini-series, not like a full season.
Yeah, whatever works.
Yeah,
I mean, they've done like an educational cartoon a while back. It was called like Wish Upon a Star or something.
Yeah, I saw that. It's like all Japanese.
Well, I have a DVD of it, dubbed and everything. It's actually a good watch, but it's super educational and weird. But
edutainment at its finest.
Exactly, but no, it's cool. If they do it right, they'll do it right. I guess like the Archie comics is selling pretty well. So some people know how to treat the character, and then others don't really treat the
Nintendo.
character right. No, Nintendo's been doing great, like Smash Brothers and.
I'm looking at all my amiibos right here, and just like, I got my Pac-Man, I got my Sonic, got my Mega Man. And it's like, can Nintendo just buy up these properties and do things with them?
Hopefully.
Like, Nintendo, just buy Sonic already. Sega not doing anything spectacular with him.
So, here's another news thing.
What's that?
Wasn't on the list, but I saw that Fox wants, or at least they've already planned, and they are going to do, but they're saying that they're going to kill off Bart Simpson in the Treehouse of Horror.
Oh, God. Yeah, I saw that.
It's just like, when news broke out of it, they didn't even say it was Treehouse of Horror, and I'm like, they're going to do that. They're not going to kill off a character. People aren't that dumb. Come on now.
Well, hey now. Henry Shearer's leaving the show. Who's to say Nancy Cartwright isn't leaving too?
You never know. If they mess with Scientology, maybe it might go.
Yeah. We're gonna pull a South Park, and we're gonna just kill our character off by sending her to a crazy cult.
Yeah. No, I don't know. Simpsons been past its prime for a while. Everybody can admit that, and they keep going with it, and they keep bringing up new ways to try to attract people, and it works most of the time. But
it's I don't know, man. Like I've told you before, like, I've never really watched The Simpsons in any capacity. Like, I've seen an episode here and there. I watched it, weeknights when it was when I was a kid. But when Simpsons news comes out, I'm like, okay, I kind of forget it's still on a lot of the time, and as soon as I saw, like, they're gonna kill Bart, I'm like,
you're like,
all right.
Okay then.
Okay, sure, that's what you're gonna do, whatever. I did think it was funny, the one I was reading did mention it was gonna be in the Treehouse of Horror, that they wanted to be like, this is gonna be like the coyote finally catching the Roadrunner, and it's like, he's just gonna not know what to do with himself after, and it's like, I actually kind of think that'd be funny to watch, to be honest.
I don't know, it's just weird to me.
It is weird, but I don't know, if there's anything The Simpsons I do watch, is at least the Treehouse of Horrors have been, they've had a better track record than the show as a whole.
True. I love the show. I used to collect the DVDs a lot. I watched it pretty religiously, to the point where I can almost quote episodes completely, and it definitely is the thing where you can see it just generally degrade into just crap.
Yeah.
And it's so bad, but whatever.
Yeah, I'm with you. Like, I can't. I legitimately cannot. Other than like a few scenes from certain episodes, I couldn't tell you any specific episode of The Simpsons ever. Like, I know the monorail song. I know that really sad scene where Bart fails, which still hits me on an emotional level because I've been there. But other than that, I can't tell you shit about The Simpsons.
I think you at least need to watch, like, the Conan O'Brien written episodes, because those are, like, the best ones ever.
I'm sure. Conan's hilarious, and I'm sad that I don't watch his show more. But, oh, God. So you got any more news, Kyle?
Nah, I can't think of anything.
Okay. Alright, so I guess that's all for the news this week. We're going to take a little break here for a few minutes, gather our thoughts, but stay tuned, and we will be back with the actual topic of this show episode. How do I stop this? Back from our break. That was a good break, wasn't it?
It felt like forever, to be honest.
But it was only like 10 seconds for everybody else. The
True.
magic of the internet and video or audio editing.
Podcast time moves faster than normal time.
It's true. Anyway, let's get to the topic of this week's episode, the first episode, I guess. We're going to talk about some of our favorite shows that got canceled a little too early. Maybe only got one season. I suggested this merely in the fact because I keep making a really terrible joke about how the internet's going to cancel this show real fast.
And it's very terrible.
I'm sorry.
Hearing it for the fourth time.
I tell Kyle this joke.
My ear holes.
I tell Kyle this joke like every day. My humor is based on self-degradation, Kyle. You should know this by now.
It's very sad.
Alright. Well, so we've got a few shows that we wanted to talk about, right?
A few.
A few, yeah. A small handful. So let's stop beating around the bush, as they say, and get to...
I like beating the bush.
I know you do. Jesus. God. Stop it. So let's get into it. First up, we're going to talk about... Kyle, you remember Mission Hill, right?
I can honestly say I don't. I mean, I actually do.
I was about to say you're a goddamn liar. No, so for the purposes of this episode, everybody, we're just going to assume that you have never seen any of this, so we're just going to give a little rundown of, what the basic plot of each show was first. So, Mission Hill was back, turn of the millennium, 1999, on the WB, made by these two guys, Bill Oakley and Josh Weinstein, who were former executives on The Simpsons. And Mission Hill was basically this show about this aspiring cartoonist living in the big city. I don't think they ever specified it was a specific city. I don't remember. But his parents decide they're going to move to buttfuck nowhere, so they force his little brother to come live with him, and he's like a giant nerd, and hilarity ensues from there about the whole awkwardness between, having this cool indie guy versus his giant nerd brother, and A+ description.
Yes, exactly. Way to read Wikipedia.
Hey, these are my notes I wrote down.
Oh, I see.
No.
Anyways, I really liked it myself. I felt the art style was very, indie comic, in a sense. Lots of vibrant colors.
Yeah, I think when I saw it back in the day, that's what kind of I thought was different, because the color scheme is really odd. It's almost neon at some points, and I totally agree. It's real indie comics. There are some shots where it's if you freeze it, it looks like it could pull out of a comic book. So I thought it was cool. I hadn't watched it in a long time, but just to do some research for this episode, I went back and watched the first couple episodes, and I honestly believe that I have a better appreciation for it now that I am the age that those characters are, rather than when I watched it when I was 14 and this is just how cool adult people act. And it's no, I can relate to these people's problems now.
True, that's just the magic of growing up.
I know. Getting old sucks, though.
Oh, yeah, being old kind of sucks. But that's what this cartoon's about. You kind of see that... I see that... it definitely was canceled before its time. I feel there was a lot that could have been explored, really. Yeah. I mean, a lot of the neighbors, they were part of the first couple episodes, and then you kind of just stopped seeing them. And it's weird, but... could have explored that a bit more. I liked the characters. They were all very likable, especially Jim, Brian Posehn.
We love Brian Posehn on this show.
He's pretty fantastic.
I love Brian
I will
Posehn.
give him that. I will, completely say I did not like Kevin at all. He's super cringeworthy. Always really nerd.
Yeah, first of all, he's voiced by Scott Benville, so I really liked the Teen Titans show back in the mid 2000s. So I know him as Robin, and he just sounds like a really nerdy Robin. Because I like Scott Menville, he just doesn't have much of a range. But I agree. It's just like sometimes his nerd and his being so neurotic and stuff, just like
he creates all his problems.
I know.
Basically,
I think it was one of the first few episodes. He's like caught jerking it to porno in a bathroom, and it leads to him burning a convenience store down. And it's like the entire episode is based around, oh, I'm gonna frame these two people. They're gonna go to jail because I don't want people to think I'm a pervert. And I'm like, what person?
To be honest, though, they were stealing because they thought they were by themselves, and they deserved to go, or at least have some time, some criminal record, at least.
But not to be charged with murder. Or attempted murder, I guess.
I think it was just arson.
No, I watched it today, and they were going to go to jail for attempted murder for like 25 years.
Okay.
I don't know, but I agree. Like Kevin creates his own problems, and there's just some points where like no person is that neurotic. But yeah, I don't know.
My favorite part,
yeah,
was they got like a new computer game, and he had like sold his friend into slavery, and the whole episode was about getting back at him,
God.
Kevin, and that was just brilliant.
Jesus. No. But yeah, now that I've gone back and watched a couple episodes here and there, I kind of remembered how much I like the main character, Andy. Just because I feel like I feel like I am him a little bit now, because he's like, I guess he moved to the big city because he wanted to be a cartoonist, which I have not moved to a big city, but I would like to be a cartoonist of some sort in the future, at least professionally. But, you know, life doesn't pan out, and he's working at a waterbed store, trying to get his career going.
Working for an angry ethnic boss.
Yeah. No, but...
I mean, I think we've all been there, really.
All my bosses have been pretty white.
Oh.
I live a sheltered life.
I'm very sorry for you.
I should be. I'm too white bread. But, yeah, well... I mean, in terms of, like, why it got canceled, apparently, like, it only aired originally, like, it only aired, like, 2 or 3 episodes before canceling it originally. And then,
Ouch.
like 2 years later, they aired a couple more episodes. But I think by then, Adult Swim had picked up and started airing all of them. But I feel like it was a bad fit for WB, because it wanted to be this cool early 20s demographic show, and, you know, if I remember right at the time, things on WB then were like fucking Dawson's Creek and Buffy and all that stuff, and it's like Mission Hill just doesn't fit in with that kind of stuff. Now, if it was on MTV, that's a different story. I think it would have done so much better. It would have went on for ages had it been on the WB, or sorry, on MTV instead. But that's life, man.
Until they decided to cancel their animation department for the 9th time.
Yeah. MTV, get your shit together. Stop making reality shows. 16 and pregnant is not good.
Anyways.
So, Kyle, do you have any other words on Mission Hill?
Well, I do need to buy the DVDs pretty soon.
Yeah?
Don't buy them from Amazon. They're cheaper elsewhere.
On the eBays?
Yeah, definitely.
Alright. So, another show, almost kind of in the same position as Mission Hill, was the Oblongs.
Same channel, really.
It was
Probably
the same
blog.
According to Wikipedia, it was from 2001 to 2002. So basically, as soon as Mission Hill got shoveled off the air on the WB, they brought the Oblongs on. It was created by this guy named Angus Oblong. I guess he based the show off a bunch of characters from this picture book he made.
Creepy Susie book.
Yeah, Creepy Susie. But basically, the Oblongs was about this family who every one of them has some kind of physical deformity. The neighborhood they live in is like overrun with toxic waste and radiation, and just it's falling apart. Where on the flip side of that, there's this entire society who lives on a literal hill right above them. It's just all the rich people who are always looking down on them, or kind of just trying to ignore the fact they exist. And it just a lot of the humor comes from a lot of culture and societal clashing.
It's very dark. A lot of black humor in it.
Yeah, it's real dark. Like, it like masks it, but it's sometimes it gets you.
I just remember I didn't catch it in the initial run for
No.
WB, but I saw it on Adult Swim when Adult Swim like first started, and the main draw point for it was Will Ferrell was in the main cast, and
Yeah.
from what I've seen, it's his actual like first voiceover for a cartoon, which is kind of interesting.
Yeah, I think that was probably either when he was like in the height of being on SNL, or like right when he was getting out. I've never actually watched SNL to any extent, so I don't like know people's times on there, but I think that's when he was getting popular. So yeah, I could see that definitely being a draw for some people to get on there.
He was like a mix between Don Knotts and like Mr. Rogers' niceness.
Yeah, it's like it was so like kind of bittersweet, because he's just like, he's this quadruped, literally has no limbs, but he's the most optimistic person in the entire show. It's like, no, things are gonna be great, and he's like a 1950s dad. He sits around and smokes a pipe.
Exactly.
And he's like, well, Junior, now don't go do this. And oh god, no, but I can't remember if I saw it on Adult Swim first. I swear to God, I saw it on WB like late at night, because I remember watching it at my mom's, who didn't have cable when I was younger. But yeah, I think the Mission Hill, both Mission Hill and Oblongs kind of suffered from, they just didn't have the audience they needed on that channel. And to be honest, I think had Adult Swim been a little further along in being established as a block, I think it would have done a lot better there.
Yeah, they probably could have thrived a bit more.
Right, but I think they got it after it was well canceled, so it's like it's kind of hard to start back up. And even on Adult Swim, I think it just did okay. I don't think it was like, this is our go-to show, or else they probably would have tried to revive it.
Well, they didn't play it too much, but every time it was on, I like definitely watched it. I liked it.
Yeah.
But it's weird because it's only got 13 episodes, and I feel like there's a hell of a lot more, but it really only has that much.
Yeah, I'm like that, and Mission Hill. Like, I feel like there's a lot of episodes that like I remember seeing, and I remember that I kept thinking there's a lot more, but like, no, it's just 13. You get what you got, I guess.
I'm probably gonna have to pick up that book. It seems like that book is like a poor man's Oyster Boy from like Tim Burton.
Right. I do remember one of the reasons I like the Oblong so much is I really like the mom character. Because
The drunk.
Well, she's like, she drinks heavily all the time. She smokes. But I just thought her dynamic with all the characters was interesting, because she's basically the bridge between the two societies. Because she grew up on the hill with all the rich people, and she was all part of high society, and then just decided, you know what, they're snobby douchebags. I'm not gonna deal with it.
And despite all that, they're really good parents still. They're just kind of like,
yeah, they're always like super encouraging, like what the kids want to do. Always like there to like pull them out of jams if they need it. So I don't know. It's like, it's nice to see that kind of
it's a different take on a family.
Right. It's like they're a literal dysfunctional family. They have physical dysfunctions, but despite that, they're like, no, like these poor people who have nothing, they're the good people. They're like, as opposed to the rich snobby assholes. It's like real society.
Exactly.
I'm not saying all rich people are snobby and douchey. Just all the ones I know.
And if you guys have a chance, look up Angus Oblong and look up his art. Because apparently he's a clown. And his art is actually pretty awesome. but he like actually has clown makeup on all the time, and a big red nose, and he just looks like a juggalo.
I didn't know that, but that's hilarious.
Yeah, that's how he goes out in public. Apparently, he like gets juggalo makeup and a red nose.
Oh god. Oh jeez. Well, so we're gonna move a little forward in time, and Kyle, you're gonna have to take the reins for this one. A show called 3 South?
I don't really want to.
But you know more about this than I do. I've watched one episode.
Oh, okay, fine. Well, anyways, 3 South was around 2002, 2003 on MTV. It was a college comedy about two friends. They're just absolutely stupid. They bug the shit out of their roommate. They're always bugging him. The roommate hates them, plans to like move to a better college. Apparently it's the worst college in the entire like country. And I don't know, I like it. It's from two Family Guy veterans. I guess it was around when it got canceled first.
I could see that. Just from the one episode I watched, I could definitely see some Family Guy influences.
The writing is just stupid humor, and that's kind of why I like it. But
right.
I mean, they're absolutely moronic.
Right. Yeah, you told me for this. You told me to watch it, and I went in honestly trying to give it a fair shake. And I'm not saying it's bad. I never like to say shows are bad. Like, I really don't like My Little Pony. I'm not saying it's a bad show. It's just not for me. But when I was watching it, like, the main thing that really bugged me, and maybe it's just me nitpicking, I just really don't like shows that reward stupidity. That's part of the reason I don't like Family Guy, is just like these characters who are, not to use an offensive term, they're borderline retarded. But
I am offended.
I'm gonna get all kinds of shit. But no matter what they do, no matter many times they mess up, it's just gonna work out for them. Whereas I was reading more like into like what the further episodes were, because I didn't have a whole lot of time to watch too many of them. Basically, the smart character, their roommate, is made to be the bad guy. Like, because he's smart and wants to do well and get ahead in life, he's treated as the bad guy.
He's the dick, though. He actually is a dick, and he's just so mean to them.
But their first impression of him is they're spinning around the room throwing mayonnaise on the wall. That's the first thing he saw of them. How are you supposed to form a relationship with these idiots?
But it's a cartoon. That's why it's great. Of course stuff like this wouldn't happen in real life.
I know, but it's like, I can forgive if a character, like, fucks up a lot, but they're still trying. These kids give, like, no effort towards trying to better themselves. It's just like, no, we fucked up. We're gonna beg and plead for whoever we need to do it to give us another chance, even though we've had no reason to be given this forgiveness. For God's sakes, first episode, they're like, alright, we're gonna go to class. It's the first day of class. And their roommate tells them, no, class started 3 weeks ago.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh crap, we got dropped from all our classes. Let's go beg from this one last teacher. And it's just, no. But I don't know. I'm sure if I watched more of it, maybe I'd give it, maybe I'd like it better. But just like from what I've seen, I'm just like, I don't know.
Was that the same one where they had to take their final, and they ended up failing, and
oh yeah,
Stanford like writes "You're beautiful" or something.
He writes "You're handsome" on the thing. They get a 40, but then they're like, "Oh crap, we failed." But then earlier in the episode, they're like, they spent an entire week hanging out with this bumpkin. He's just like so dumb. But he got an automatic A because I guess he was on the baseball or whatever. But it turns out he failed like more miserably than anybody else in the class. But since they weren't there for class, they didn't hear the professor grades on a curve. So they actually passed even with a failing grade. So they're like, yeah, you can still stay in school.
I think it was great. It was marketed to the MTV generation, the
Right.
slacker kids. I
Right.
could see it.
And that's the thing. That's kind of why I can forgive it a little bit. Is like, this actually was targeted towards its audience. It's like, this is, they knew who they were making it for. It's for those college kids who just want to be lazy and be stupid. And
Now, the art style is horrendous. It is
Yeah.
absolutely terrifyingly ugly.
yeah, man, I don't like. It almost looks like a Far Side comic or something.
Yeah, like, that's the perfect way to explain it.
'Cause, like,
everybody's just bulbous and, like, misshapen.
Yeah, and like one of the main characters, his eyes are literally just a line across his face,
Yeah.
and it looks like a Far Side character. It's weird.
Now, what's interesting is, I guess these people are having a new cartoon coming maybe in the fall for Fox,
Oh,
and it looks absolutely terrible.
what show is that?
It's called Border
Oh,
Town
Border
or
Town?
something.
Yeah, I saw a trailer for that.
And it looks like it's something that should have been made in like 2006.
Yeah, it
And
seems really poorly timed. It's like, this is relevant about 10 years ago.
it's about the Mexican border and California border, and it's like that none of the jokes were funny. Like, I don't know what happened, because 3 South, I thought it was hilarious, but none of those ones in the trailer looked any funny at all. And they keep marketing it as Seth MacFarlane show, but it's definitely not.
I think he's just producing it, but it's kind of like with movies, they'll say it's produced by this person because no one knows who's actually directing it, so they put the big name producer on it so people will watch it.
True.
So it's like, from the maker of Family Guy. We worked on Family Guy? I don't know. But, yeah,
I highly recommend it.
yeah.
I mean, doesn't.
If you want to watch it, go ahead. I'm not going to stop you, not that I could if I wanted to.
It's free streaming online.
Yeah,
YouTube,
yeah, I
so-
think I found like all the episodes on YouTube, but yeah, I'm not really sure. Other than what I don't like, unless just everyone else felt the same way I do about it. I don't know why it would have got canceled so early. I mean, it seemed to be playing to its demographic, so.
I just think it was around the time where MTV was done with animation again.
Yeah, it was starting to burgeon into like the mid 2000s, and I think by that time they were starting to shut down. But because we got to get that Jersey Shore in there.
Of course. So,
Let's talk
Next
more.
one.
Let's talk more about MTV, Kyle, when they tried to revive it.
oh yeah, the 14th time that
Yeah.
they revived their animation department.
Okay, so back in 2011, MTV made this big fuss and like, hey, we're bringing animation back one night a week, and
And
they
I pissed my pants in
yeah,
excitement.
I was so excited because like I think it was like a year or two before they announced that. I like discovered what Daria was. I'm like, oh god, I wish I was a teenager when in the 90s so I could have appreciated this at the time. But so they were spearheading it. It was like, okay, we're bringing Beavis and Butthead back, and
That was their like selling point.
that was the
Everybody
selling
wanted
point.
to
We're
see
gonna
it.
bring Beavis and Butthead back. I thought it was gonna be. I thought the way they announced it, like it was gonna be more recurring. It only got one season. But that's not what we're talking about now, is it?
No, we're gonna be talking about Good Vibes.
Good Vibes. I think Good Vibes was actually on before Beavis and Butthead, but I think that was a good strategy on MTV's part because you'd have to watch Good Vibes before Beavis and Butthead would come on.
Yeah.
But okay, so Good Vibes was this show about this overweight kid named Mondo. He comes from New Jersey. His mom is a Guido, whatever the female Guido term is, to like the nth degree. And they just kind of uproot their life, and they're gonna move to Southern California, beach town. And it just kind of, a lot of the humor kind of comes from adjusting to that new life. Like literally the entire culture just changes, and trying to fit in with that culture.
Pretty much. Rewatching it, and it's kind of dumb, but they throw a lot of references to Jersey Shore to it. But
Yeah.
it's kind of integrated with them coming from the East Coast.
Mm-hmm.
Like they were living there.
Yeah.
I liked it a lot. The art style reminded me a lot of The Simpsons in a sense.
Mm-hmm.
The kid Mondo reminded me absolutely of Teenage Homer. But like the art style, if you really look at the line work and the drawings and stuff, it's very like sketchy. You can see.
Yeah, there's like gaps in the lines.
Yeah, and I love that. That's fantastic.
Yeah, I mean it was kind of a cheaper show to make because it was very obviously made in Flash.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of everyone's drawn at a 3/4 view. Everyone kind of moves really simplistically, but it was charming. I'll put it that way. It's like it's nothing spectacular, but it was really charming.
Like all the characters are super likable.
Right, and that's what really bugs me when a show gets over. It's just like I've grown attached to these characters. It's like you start to feel like you actually get to know them, and then they just like they cease to exist after that point.
It's like usually first season, they're testing the water.
Mm-hmm.
They're making sure they get everything right.
Right.
And then to cancel something after the first season, it sucks because you want more from that.
Right.
You want to see what's going on.
I remember when it first came on, I don't remember actually liking it all that much, but since I had like grown an appreciation for Daria and some of old MTV's like older animation like the Max, I had like marathon through that around the same time too. I really wanted to give them the benefit of the doubt. It's like, okay, MTV's making the effort to bring making the effort to bring their animation back. All right, I'll give this a shot. Yeah, and after a couple episodes, I'm like, I kind of got into it, and now that like I've watched the whole thing, I can actually go back to those first episodes, and I have a better appreciation for it. And I think I told you this already. I don't remember what episode it was in, but like the clincher for me was they were doing a montage, the two guys, Mondo and Woody. I don't remember what they were doing exactly, but they timed it all to a Less Than Jake song. And I'm like, oh, using my favorite band and one of my favorite songs from that band. All right, you got me. All right, I'll stay. And
that's where they got you, man.
That's where they got me. And then like I watched the rest of it, and then like I really enjoyed it. And I think like a lot of the characters had a lot of personality to them, especially the main guy.
You root for the fat kid.
You're rooting for the fat kid who's trying to get the hot chick, but even though, I don't know.
I feel like all the characters were fantastic. They had their own personality and everything, but the love interest was so boring and just generic, and it sounded like an actor reading the lines off.
Yeah.
And there was nothing to that character, and it makes you question, what does he even see in her? Like, she's cute, but there's nothing else
that's
to
the
there.
whole. I think that's kind of. I don't know if it's like the joke, but yeah, Gina was a weird character because literally she's introduced, she's eye candy. That's how they run into her for the first time. It's just like, oh, she's hot. I want to bang that so hard.
Yeah.
And it's like, that's not really how you should set up your characters, but I don't know.
They're teenagers.
They're
and
teenagers.
It's MTV.
Yeah. You have to play on stereotypes a little bit for that crowd.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, but I think out of all of these shows, I'm kind of bummed out that Good Vibes got canceled as soon as it did. Just, I don't know. I related to those characters a lot more for some reason.
I was super bummed because the last episode, it was like, oh, it's the season finale, so you're like, okay, can't wait till next season.
Mm-hmm.
And then there was no next
There was
season.
no
And you would expect them to, like, even keep Beavis and Butthead going on. That's like one of their most well-known things, and then that got canceled too.
Yeah, man, I don't think the animation block did well for them at all. And honestly, it's because that the times changed. The audience for MTV, isn't the stoners and the indie people anymore. It's it's the Jersey Shore people. It's the people who watch Teen Mom.
Yeah, because MTV is all about the music, and it
is about music. They just play it over the shows, and then there's a little bar that comes up and says, "This is what this show is," or "This is what this song is." I think that is one of the one benefit I think that Good Vibes had from being on MTV is one, they could take a lot of shots at MTV. There are so many pot shots taken at like Jersey Shore and 16 and Pregnant like all the time, and also
True.
they have a lot of decent music like playing in the background all the time. A lot of indie artists.
Like Less Than Jake and,
Less Than Jake was
OK
on
Go and stuff.
Yeah, they've got all these like really cool bands playing in the background all the time. Which I think why I started to like it is because I started recognizing these bands that I like enjoy, and they're always playing in the background. I was like, okay, well, there you go. But being on MTV, they've got access to all that kind of stuff. But unfortunately, the audience, you're a little too late. I think Good Vibes would have done well on Comedy Central.
True.
Because I think that the stoners kind of moved over there. It's sad. I'm sad, but
Talking about it made me sad.
well, let's go to move something that you were not as sad as about, but I'm still sad about. We're gonna get into something on the complete opposite spectrum of everything we've talked about so far. We're gonna talk about a show called Motor City.
And you're gonna have to spearhead this one, 'cause
Okay.
I've only watched a handful of episodes.
Have you liked it so far?
I actually do,
Well,
but
good.
why don't you tell everybody what it's about?
All right. So back in like 2012, Disney XD. I'm pretty sure they launched them at the same time. They launched the Tron animated series, Tron Uprising, which I really enjoy and am also sad that got canceled before its time. But alongside that, they launched a show called Motor City. It was created by like the founder of Titmouse, Chris Prianosky, I think is his name. And I thought the concept for it was really cool because it's the future, and Detroit is basically falling apart. It's literally a wasteland. It's broken down. Everything's rusting away. So what do? A rich businessman says, we're going to build the society of the future on top of it. So if it centers around like this gang of like car enthusiasts, let's call it. They're really like a rebel group or whatever. They got like these souped up, almost Mad Max like cars. And they're using that to like fight this I don't know what his name was, but he was voiced by Mark Hamill, but this business tycoon who's like actively trying to get everyone out of old Detroit so he can bring them up to the new Detroit and like get them enslaved into the new futuristic society, because it's like everyone's kind of it's like everyone in the new society is under surveillance, and you got a lot of freedoms restricted, but they don't really know any better. So
it's the perfect utopian society.
it's like, yeah, they got like the perfect utopian society, but all the freedoms you'd want with a perfect society is in the bottom society, where in Motor City, as they call it. But yeah, it was really weird. I'm not really sure what happened with Tron, because you got name recognition on there. Maybe Tron just wasn't as big as it was, but at least from what I saw, I don't remember Disney marketing Motor City way too much. So
No.
and they do that with a lot of stuff. Like, I never know when Gravity Falls is on. I was watching that Randy Cunningham show, which I think is still on, but I never know when new episodes start. Disney's really bad at telling when the new cartoons are on. But
That's true.
yeah, Motor City was really interesting. It was a really interesting concept, and the character designs, and especially the world they built, was like really, it was really vibrant and really unique.
Yeah, like character design, that was like just top notch. I really liked how everybody looked.
Yeah, everyone's got a really unique look. I think it's funny that the main guy, I think his name's like Mike, he looks like Murdoch from the Gorillas a little bit.
Yeah.
He's got that same haircut.
Everybody's got a great personality too on there.
Yeah,
Extremely likable characters.
they've got
from what at least I've seen.
Yeah, their gang is like built of like 5 or 6 like different characters, but you can tell why everybody's on that team, and everyone's got a reason to be there. And it's interesting because I don't know if you got to it, so this might be a spoiler for you. Like their main girl in their group is actually the daughter of the big evil bad guy. So
yeah, I was gonna ask about that. Do they ever like find out?
Yeah, they
Sure
do
do.
They do eventually, but it's really interesting watching her having to like. Basically, she's their spy into their society because she actually technically works for her dad as like an intern or something. So she's like running back and forth between those, basically being a spy for the Motor City people. I'm still kind of broken up about that one. It's still pretty recent. It only got canceled like 2 years ago.
A lot of people are still broken up about it, from what I've read. Like,
Yeah, that and Tron. Everyone was like, we're not really sure what happened. I think the Titmouse guys were looking to maybe find a way to continue the show, but I don't know if they ever made good on that or they found if anything's happened with that.
I think it's like disappointing when companies do that, because I know like Dan Versus, they're still looking for someone to.
Are they still
produce
trying to?
this.
Are they still
Yeah.
trying to make next? Oh, yeah. I would have put Dan Versus on this list, but Dan Versus went on for like what 3 seasons?
I want to say 3.
Yeah.
That's one of my favorite shows.
I
Really.
love that show. I think you were the one who told me about that show. It's like,
Yeah.
because I didn't watch The Hub other than like watch the Aquabat show or watch Transformers, but I didn't know Dan Versus was a show. And you're like, no, go watch this show. And I think that if you actually got pissed off enough, I think you would be Dan. Going
Yeah,
off
I-
and getting
I saw
revenge on
myself-
people.
I saw myself and Dan a lot.
You have a jerk
Yeah.
shirt.
I also saw they have like a toxic friendship, and I saw that a lot with an older friend.
Yeah. So yeah, real sad Motor City's gone. That was a really cool concept, and you know,
I'm sad all these are gone, really.
I
but-
am. I'm with you. It's.
I mean, to be honest, it's better to gracefully go than to keep going on. I mean, shows like Family Guy and The Simpsons.
where you just want them to end.
Yes, because it's like you're done with it. The shticks are dead. Everything's done. It's been buried,
Yeah,
and they just keep going with it. I don't know.
yeah, it's really hard to find that balance of like, you really like these characters, and you want to see them keep doing stuff, but at what point are you okay with letting them go? And especially a lot of these shows that we talked about, when I got to the end of the season, I'm like, I'm not ready to let these guys go yet. I want more of this, but
I think the perfect example would be like Futurama, because it was canceled a few times and then brought back a few times, and then when it was finally done a couple years back, you're like, all right, I'm good.
yeah, I don't know. I feel like with Futurama, I don't hate like the direct-to-DVD movies in the season or two. I don't forget, it was like a season or two after that they did, but I do think that the ending they went with, I actually like that, because not only does it like, okay, this puts a sense of finality on it, it actually works as a way that you can loop it back around, because it's like, if you haven't seen the Futurama ending, it's been out for a while, so what's wrong? So spoilers anyway. Basically what it is like Fry and Leela get stuck in time. It's like time is frozen over in the universe, and they're the only ones that aren't affected by it. So they're like, let's just live out our lives, and you watch them just like literally travel the world doing everything
grow old.
and grow old, and you see them, they're at the verge of death by the end of the episode, and then the professor just comes in. He's been stuck in some side time. He pops out of a portal. Is like, all right, I've managed to fix time. We can fix everything. Problem is, we got to go back to the beginning. And it was really sweet, and I actually thought it was really cool. They just look at each other, it's like, you want to go do it again? And they're like, yeah. So basically, that means you can just go watch the entire show over again, and it makes sense.
Yeah.
But,
a lot of people were mad about that, because they felt that the Devil's Hands, like, that was the perfect ending, but...
I will agree, that episode, had they ended it there, I would have been okay. I was glad that there was more, but... I would have been fine if that had been the ending, because it was a good ending. It implied a lot, because like Fry and Leela don't get together per se, but it implies enough that
Exactly.
it can give you that sense of like, okay, it gives you that closure that you need.
Yeah.
It gives you enough of it. So, Kyle, do you have any other shows you'd like to talk about?
I think I'm good, really.
All right. Well, I guess we can put a close to the Ink and Paint Club for this week. So come back next week. Not sure what we're talking about yet, but we'll figure that out. It should be a good time.
We've got like a week or two to figure it out.
We have a week.
Oh.
Every week.
Oh, okay.
But, so yeah, if you're listening to this, please share this episode if you can. We're working on getting this to iTunes eventually, but we'll put links to the description to all of our social medias. We're all everywhere on Facebook, we're on Twitter, we're on Tumblr. Follow us on there. I'll put links to our personal pages if you really want to follow us in a more personal nature.
Gross.
You know, get to know us as people. Or don't, that's cool. But, thank you for listening to this. I hope it wasn't too bad. We'll keep working on ways to make this show better.
Hopefully. So, I'm Kyle.
I'm JD. That's it.
Thank you for joining us.
Yes, thank you.
We'll see you next week.
We'll see you next week, everybody. Bye.
Okay, I have to pee